Hello and welcome to Melody's monthly message for May. And May is Mental Health Month. And the color is green. Rebirth, spring, hope. And that's what can happen with people who are dealing with mental health issues. There is hope. There is help. And you're not alone. So I'm going to kind of break down some of the areas where the mental health issues are coming at us. And in 2022, 73% of Americans reported having mental health issues. And current events can certainly start that downward spiral because we're in a very tough, scary time. Politics, racial issues, bullying issues, economic issues, everyone is affected. And there's some things that can be helpful to minimize its impact. When you're watching the news, try to keep it to 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night. And if you can, read about it in your local newspaper or even on your internet on the local newspaper. And what happens is if you visualize it, it gets more in the emotional part of the brain. It stays there longer. Versus when we're reading it, we're processing it more with the thinking part of our brain. So it doesn't have the impact and the drag that it can have when we're watching it visually, especially violence, scenes of violence. And loneliness, 58% of adults report being lonely. And it can add to our depression, it can add to our anxiety, it can create psychoses, and increases dementia. So again, what's the antidote to that? Join a church group. Go to a 12-step meeting. They have it for substances, but they also have it with people who are dealing with codependence. And you get one or two friends just to connect with so you're not alone, who understand your issue. Church groups, joining a music or an art class, any kind of extension courses at your university. And one of the things I love so much are TED Talks, because the more curious we are, again, let's go back to those wonderful brain hormones of dopamine and norepinephrine, which gives us energy and pleasure. And when those are activated, when we're learning or curious about something, they actually put out more. So we can chemically feel better. There's also the issue of, this is what I wanted to tell you, was about the loneliness. They say being alone, being in a condition of loneliness for your health is equal to smoking 1 pack of cigarettes every day for 30 years. So that's how damaging it is. And of course, technology. Oh my goodness. You know, it's a great gift, and it's like everything in life, it can be a gift and a curse. And with the technology, staring at the screens, even when you're doing Zoom or Skypes, you're not having that real eye-to-eye contact where we build up, again, more of our connective neurotransmitters like oxytocin. It's called the love drug. And also, it affects our sleep. And so you want to be off of your technical devices at least 45 minutes to an hour before you go to sleep, because the waves from the screens affect our circadian rhythms, which help us sleep on a regular basis. So let's come up with some other solutions. And remember, you're not alone. You know, almost 75%, 3/4 of Americans report, and that's not including the ones who don't report, have mental health issues. So the other thing is being aware of boundaries, being aware of people around you. They call sometimes toxic people or psychic vampires, and you're around their presence. And at the end of the evening, you're kind of like, oh, it's like everything's been drained out of you. Now, for the reality of life, sometimes we have to be around difficult people who might be toxic, but limit your time. Come up with an exit plan. I always say going to the bathroom was one of the greatest, even when you don't have to, is one of the greatest gifts that we can do. Just to go and get away and do some deep breathing. Remember, when you're deep breathing, you don't breathe in first, because when you're anxious, there's too much CO2 in our body. So first we let it out for 7, pushing your diaphragm against your lungs. We gently breathe it in through our nose for a count of 4, keeping our shoulders down. We hold it for a count of 5 so we can re-oxygenate our body. And again, out for 7. I call that the 745, and try to do it 3 times. And then you can go back into the room with the difficult people. And again, the basics. Are you eating food that's healthy for you? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough hydration? And what's your movement like? We also know that with more movement and exercise, it lessens the chances of having dementia. It also, again, releases some feel-good brain hormones like serotonin and dopamine. And even if you go out for a reasonably paced walk for 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back, that's 20 minutes. That's enough to make a change in your brain and your body, and also in your brain chemistry. And the problem is, if we don't take care of this stuff, we end up sabotaging ourselves through substance abuse, anything to numb out those feelings of depression. And alcohol, we know, is definitely a depressant, so you increase that. Other drugs will also affect your moods. Self-harm, either not eating or cutting. Sometimes people burn themselves as a way not to feel the pain. I'd rather make my own pain and make myself miserable than feel the pain of the world around me. And isolation, that fits with the loneliness. And the isolation is, again, I so believe, is joining an organization of something that you really, with people that you really can relate to. There's a lot of Road Scholar, ROAD, Road Scholar tours. Have a group of people and they take them to the most marvelous places all around the world. And so another piece that releases feel-good chemicals is having curiosity. And that's one of the reasons why I like TED Talks. They're only 15 minutes. You get new information, which increases, again, the more neural connections and the building of more neurons in the brain. And it's interesting, and you have something to talk to somebody about. And most important, self-compassion. For everybody is going through at one degree or another, overwhelmed and confused by what's going on around them. And so I'm a great believer also in gratitudes. I swear by this lady and her book. And you have little spaces for 5 gratitudes every day, and little exercises that she puts in. And that's Wendy Meg Siegel at The Gratitude Habit. It's a wonderful way just to get your mind back into what's happening right in front of you. And that's one of the things of mindfulness exercises, is they keep us in the moment versus going to the future fears or the past regrets of shame or guilt. So as you're doing this as well, be aware of your limiting beliefs. Oh, there's no hope for me. No one cares about me. There's no one there to help me. Oh, it'll always be like that. And start to write down the counter beliefs to that. Actually, there are people around me. I just feel this way. And I've always said feelings are facts, but are they based on facts? So for this month, reach out, take care of yourself, and check with the 2 sites at SAMHSA and mhanational.org. And if you're really in trouble, dial 988 and someone will speak to you. And you won't be alone with this, and you'll find many others who are right there with you. So for this May Mental Health Month, God bless, take care, and I'll see you in June.